welcome back to my channel. My name is Marissa and I am the crafter behind Missouri Makes. You can find me on Instagram as Missouri_makes and you can find me on Ravelry as Missouri Makes. See if I can get that out correctly. Today is Tuesday. What's today's date? September 28th. It is about 10 minutes till 10 in the morning. As you can see, morning. We are in a different location. I am trying out different things to see what I like. I'm here in front of a window so that I have better lighting, but I don't know if this will be the spot that I go to or what. I don't know. I like sitting in front of my shelves that I've got my yarn on, but sometimes I wonder if it's a little too busy in the background because I don't have it organized specifically, really. It's all just kind of tossed in, and so I wonder if it's a little too busy. And so I'm trying different things out to see. I know the lighting isn't great. I'll try to edit it and make it a little bit better, and maybe in the future I can kind of get some different lights to help with all of this. Today I have a guest. She's over here sleeping. I'm surprised she ain't up in my face because currently I'm sitting in the floor of my living room and she is quietly sleeping. I've got one of my puppies. He's sitting here beside me. Mozzie decided that he was going to stay outside because there's other dogs out there that he just needs to bark at. But Ruby decided that she was going to listen and not bark at the dogs and come inside and be good. And so she's laying here sleeping. Maybe I will insert a little clip here in a little while of the puppies, maybe at the end of the video, of the puppies and how big they are. Thursday, which when I post this video it'll be Friday, so yesterday, by the time you see this video, they will be 14 weeks, I believe so. To me, 14 weeks, they seem to be big, but I know that because they are half German Shepherd, they're going to be big dogs, and so I have to remind myself of that. Their mom, she was Blue Heeler. While she is on the bigger side, I'd say she's a medium-sized dog compared to a German Shepherd. So, yeah. They're so cute when they're sleeping and not tearing things up. But let's go ahead and get into what I've been making. As you can see here, I've got one piece. This is a finished object, but I used my fireplace comfort from Yarn Bee, which is a Hobby Lobby brand, and there's 229 yards. As you can see, I did not pay $9 for this skein. I paid $2.24. And it's a 70 acrylic 30 wool blend. And I made this scarf, and what it is it's an infinity scarf. And what I really like about this is the fact that there's a twist in it. I don't know if I can properly show you. Yeah, there it goes. There's a twist in it. And with that twist, when you style it, it looks, I don't know, it just makes it look better. At least on me, I feel like I can pull it off a little bit better. It just helps styling. And what I did to make this is the same stitch pattern as the Cover Me in purple blanket that I have that will be coming out this week. And because I'm in love with the stitch pattern. And so I decided to make a scarf. What it was is me and my husband were sort of quarantined this weekend because he had been exposed at work, and we wanted to make sure that we didn't have any symptoms or anything like that. And while we both were kind of blah feeling, we didn't really feel bad, but we didn't want to risk, because we know some people are really, really scared of this, of COVID and stuff like that. Me and him, you know, it's whatever. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't, you know. But we know that there are people that really freak out about it. And that's okay. That is their choice. But we wanted to respect that. And so we stayed home this weekend and did nothing but be lazy. And we were getting stir crazy because while sometimes we don't do anything on Saturdays, Sundays are our busiest day of the week. You know, we go to church and we go to a 9:30 service. Then we go to a 2 o'clock service, and then we go to a 5 or 5:30 service, all on Sunday. And so we're busy all day. And so to not do that just made us completely stir crazy. And I have several whips that I need to get done. And nothing was exciting to me. I didn't want to work on any of them. I needed something new that I could just make and be done with it, you know? And so I pulled out this fireplace comfort, and I'm like, okay, this is it's a worsted weight yarn, so it's on the thicker side. I can make something and get that instant gratification of I made it and it's done, you know? And so I thought this would be beautiful as a scarf, a hat, something to go around the neck, because I don't know if the lighting is showing it well, but it's orange. It's a roving style yarn, and it's orange, and then it's got another strand that is spun with it that it's dark, that goes from dark blue to a pinky purple to a dusty gray blue. And we've got a purple in here. It just goes different. If you've ever messed with the yarn, you know what I'm talking about. It's a roving style yarn because I had thick and thin places in it, and it was a dream to work with. But I will tell you, frogging it was horrible. But with a roving style yarn, you have to expect that, because it's the way it's spun, that if you look, it's got a halo to it, and so all of the little fibers and stuff is going to cling to each other. This other item that I made to go along with this, I frogged back 3 or 4 times because I was playing yarn chicken, trying to figure out and fix it. And so frogging this kind of yarn is no fun, but the end result is beautiful. I loved working with this yarn. It's not splitty, it's not any of that. You don't have to worry about that. But I made this with about 1 1/4 to 1.5 skeins of this fireplace comfort, and I had leftover yarn, and I'm like, I don't want to have scraps of this because I've got enough scraps already. I don't need to add to the pile. And so I'm like, let me figure out something else that I can make. And so I decided to make a slouchy hat. Let's see. Yep, there we go. It's not super slouchy, but it's enough that you get that slouchy effect. And I did the same pattern as the scarf, and I worked it from top down. And what I was playing yarn chicken on is the ribbing here, because the ribbing, I feel like, eats more yarn than what you think. And I wanted the hat to be baggy, so I wanted to put excess yarn here. I wanted to put a lot of distance on the body of the hat, and then I wanted a decent sized ribbing. But here's the thing, I made this and the body of the hat with a really big hook compared to what I would usually use. At least I used a 6.5 millimeter, which is a K, for all of this and the body of the hat. And I knew that the hat that it went around, it would be too big on my head and it wouldn't stay up. And if I wanted it to slouch, then I needed it to cling to my head so that the body of the hat would drape down, and then the ribbing that I would have would cling to my head and stay on. And so what I decided to do was grab a size I hook. I don't know if that's gonna... Okay. Size I, which I believe is a 5.5. So I went from a 6.5 to a 5.5 for the ribbing. And that way it would be more dense and would cinch up. As you can tell, it did. And I think it fits pretty well. This is going to be a nice staple piece for my wardrobe this winter. It's not quite cold enough for all of this yet. I can wear this in the house comfortably because we've got the air conditioner. And I got a fan right there that if I wasn't podcasting it would be on. So, but yeah, I did that. And the yarn chicken of it was in the ribbing. And I frogged it 2 or 3 times. I frogged it once here at the top of the hat because I wasn't increasing enough. And then the ribbing, I want to say that I frogged 2 or 3 different times because I kept running out of yarn. I would get about 3/4 of the way and then run out of yarn. And so I was trying to figure out how to do it so that I wouldn't run out of yarn, but I would use all of my yarn, you know? So, and I actually managed to do it. I managed to get through the hat and get through the scarf with pretty much nothing left. And so that was 2 skeins off my shelf that I can say I used and put something else up, because I do have a bucket that is in my craft area over there that is full of yarn that I have yet to put on my shelf because I don't have space for it. And so that will help. And I thought that I would bring my socks to show you, because last week I told you I hadn't done enough to say that I've done anything on my socks. And this week you can tell a difference from the last time I showed you them, because I think the last time I showed you them I had the ribbing done and 1 or 2 rows done on the heel. And so I have finished the heel down here, and I have done all of my decreases and got back to my stitch count for the, I guess, the body of the sock, which would be the foot area. I finished all my decreases, and now I am in plain stockinette until I get ready to do the toes. And like I said the last time I showed you, I didn't do any leg portion for the sock. I just did ribbing, and then I went straight to a heel, because I personally wear shorties. I don't wear the longer socks. Now, whenever I start wearing my boots again, I may want longer socks, but as of right now, I wear shorties when I wear socks. I don't wear socks very often because I don't like socks very much. Now, I'll wear them around the house. I like wearing them around the house, but I don't personally like wearing shoes that require socks unless it's boots. And I don't wear boots through the summer, or not anymore, I used to. I don't wear boots through the summer, so unless I have to put my tennis shoes on for some odd reason, I don't wear shoes that require socks. And so, yeah. But this is using my hand-dyed yarn. It is a 75-25 base fingering weight, and this is how much I have of this. And I figure I can get both socks out of this. If not, I've got another ball like this from whenever I made my husband's socks. And, oh, I didn't tell you. I am using I'm using a 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter for the sock, and I did it for the ribbing, and I'm going to do it for all of it. I haven't changed needle sizes for any of the sock. I know some people do a different needle size for the ribbing and a different needle for the foot of the sock, but I don't. I use the same all the way around. Okay, I'm going to take this off. So, the last thing that I have to show you is this. Now, what's the name of it? Hold on. Let me find it. The St. Laurent shawl, and I'll be sure to put a picture somewhere around here of what it looks like, because mine doesn't do it justice. I ain't got enough on it to really show you what it's going to look like, so I'll be sure to put a photo up. But it's by Espastrico. I hope I said that right. Espastrico. It is knitted with a lace weight yarn, and I'm using a fingering weight. I'm not using lace weight, which I don't know the difference between lace and fingering. To me, they're close to the same thickness, and so lace weight may be a little bit thinner, but I'm using a fingering weight. And the tools, the needles it calls for is a 3.5 millimeter, which is a 4. I'm using a 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter, because that is what I have. I have a 4 knitting needle, and I tried using it, but it's plastic, and so the yarn kept splitting, and I was having a lot of trouble with it, and I knew whenever that started happening that I was not going to enjoy the process of knitting this shawl, because I'm really big on, I want it, I want the item, but if I'm not enjoying it, it's going to take me 3 years to make it, because I'll knit a couple stitches and then I'll be done for a while, and then I'll knit a couple stitches and then I'll be done, because I am struggling with it. And so I knew that I was not going to make it. I wasn't going to actually put the time and effort into it if if I didn't have the right needles. And I don't have a 4 knitting needle that is metal, and so I grabbed the only metal knitting needles that I had that would work. And so this is what it looks like so far. This is a free pattern. I don't know if I said that. You can find this pattern for free on Ravelry. And I know I didn't say this. Anything that I mention in this the podcast, you can find in show notes on the Ravelry. And all of my past podcasts, they have show notes as well in my Ravelry group. And so you can find everything there that I mentioned. If it's got a link, I will put it there. Also, if you have trouble with Ravelry and you can't go on Ravelry due to whatever, if you'll put a comment in the comment section down below, I will be happy to put the show notes in the description box down below. And however, whatever you need, we can work it out. Now, the yarn that's called for is Espastrico Luna, which is a 100% BFL, which is a Blue-Faced Leicester yarn. I've never worked with Blue-Faced Leicester. Or Espastrico Stella, which is 80 BFL, 20 silk. Never messed with it. And then it calls for Espastrico Petite Lin, which is 100% linen. It says that it's going to take 1,161 yards total, I think, to make it. It's supposed to be 78 by 40 inches, which is huge, and I can't wait. And mine may be bigger because I have fingering weight instead of lace weight, but I figured that'll compensate for the small needles, and it'll probably be close to the same size. But I didn't have any of that yarn, but I wanted to make this shawl, so I went searching, and I decided to. I've had this yarn for forever, and I don't even remember why I got this yarn or what I was going to use it for. The only thing I can think of is I got this yarn because it was purple. I am a purple fanatic, and I love the color purple. And if you put purple yarn in front of me, I'm going to get the purple yarn because I love purple. Hello, my name is Marissa, and I'm a purple addict. But I got this yarn off of Knit Picks, and it is called Alpaca Cloud Fingering. And I'm assuming the colorway is called Violet. And then it says color number is 5090. Oops, sorry. It is 100% superfine alpaca, 200 yards or 50 grams. It is considered a number 1 weight, which is fingering. And it is beautiful. Here, let me reposition myself so you can get a better look at the yarn. It is beautiful. I don't know if you can see the halo on that. Maybe that's the right color. It is a dark purple. To me, when I look at the screen, on the screen it looks like a pinky purple. It's not. It's a purple. And that is what? See, yeah, that looks pinky purple. It's not. It's a deep purple. And I have 800 or 1,000 yards of this, and I may have enough to finish it in this, but I found this yarn, and it's classified as a sport, but the thickness of it looks like you could pull it off as a fingering, maybe. I've had this yarn for a little while. I used to get, what's it called? Knit Crate? The subscription box? I guess I could look on here and see. Yeah, Knit Crate. And the first yarn that they ever gave me was this purple sparkle yarn. Of course, perfect for me. And later on, they gave out coupons, and I got more of the purple sparkle. Now this is Uru? I don't know. yarn. It's Sugared Sport by Knit Crate. That is the label. Colorway is Lapis, 70% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 10% stellina. It is classified as a sport weight. There's 300 yards, or 100 grams. And when you look at it, to me, it's thin. To me, it looks like a thin sport. And so I'm debating on if I want to add this in, because when you read the pattern, it says panel A and panel B. If I'm not mistaken, that's how they put it. Panel A and panel B. And so I'm working on panel A right now. And so I don't know if I want to use the sparkle yarn for panel B. They are not anywhere near the same color, but I think that they would look okay together. I think it would be a cool contrast color. And you can see all the sparkle in it. I think that it would be cool to add it in if I find a chance to add it in. I don't know. This Knit Picks yarn, there's 200 yards. I think I have either 800 or 1,000 yards, and I could probably stop at 1,000 yards and be okay. But it's saying that I'm going to need close to 1,200, and so I'm like, I would really like to be able to go the full distance with this pattern instead of cutting it off short. So I may end up adding the sparkle yarn in. We'll see. But I have finished the setup row, and I am now working on the body of it, and it's telling me that I have to do 53 or 56 repeats of rows 5 through 10, and so I've got a long ways to go. I think I'm gonna have, how many stitches did it say that I was gonna have at the end? 342 rows from cast on and 176 stitches. So I am pretty sure that I have a long ways to go, but I am actually really enjoying this pattern, and I figure this will be one of my knits that I work on at night, like after dinner, and me and the hubster sits on the couch and watches TV. I figure this will be one of those things that I work on. It's not a hard pattern. In fact, everything that it's talking about right now, I understand. If you don't know, if you've not been here, I am a new knitter. I have been knitting, or more like studying knitting, because I haven't done a whole bunch of knitting. I don't have a bunch of finished objects, but I have studied and looked at and watched videos and tried to learn everything I can learn about knitting, and I've got a long ways to go. But I have done everything I know to learn to knit. I just haven't put my knowledge out there very much. I haven't knitted a whole bunch of things. But because I'm a fairly new knitter, I think I have been knitting, I think I'm coming close to the 2-year mark. So I haven't been knitting that long. But what they have you do in here, if you can see all of the holes, part of what this is you knit 3 and then you take 1 stitch and throw it over the other 2 stitches, and I've personally never done that. I've done like a bind off where you knit 2 and then throw 1 over to bind off, and I've done that, but I've never done this. But the way, so far the way the pattern is written, everything is really understandable. I think that right now I haven't read the whole pattern through. I never do. I don't know why. I probably should, but right now, as of right now, their patterns are really easy to follow. I understand everything, and I would classify myself as a beginner knitter. and everything is well written and understandable, and I think that a beginner could do this pattern. I don't know what the pattern is classified as, but, and you know, some beginners may have trouble with it, and then some beginners may think it's easy. It just depends on the person, I believe. But I fully 100% believe that if you want to knit it, you can knit it. And that goes for anything. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner, if you're advanced. If you want to accomplish something, I believe if you work on it, you can figure it out and you can do it. And so, that's that. I feel like there was something else that I was supposed to show you. Oh, I have another project that's all the way over there. I'm not getting up to get it. I'll show you next week on it when I have more progress. But I started it. I've been wanting to start it for a while, and I swatched for it and ended up not using the stitches that I used in the swatch. I did something completely different. And so I have been working on it, and I've got about this much done on it. We'll see how it goes, and if I've got enough yarn to actually do it. But yeah. That is all of the yarn goodness that I have for this week. I didn't buy any new yarn this week. Didn't do anything because I've just been home. Figured out, I did because we were quarantining ourselves, but we had to have groceries. We couldn't do without. And so I figured out how to do the whole pickup thing with Kroger. And they brought it to the car and loaded everything up themselves and everything. It was, oh, hello. I guess she's going to go eat. But they loaded I've never done pickup with Kroger or any other store. But I didn't like down it or anything. I just never done it myself because I'm one to go in the store and get the stuff. But with that comes putting everything you see in the cart. And yeah. And you spend way too much money. And so we've been trying to get ourselves on a budget, and with that you have to cut back and you have to do this, and it's hard to do that when you just want to put everything in the basket. And so I did all my shopping online on the computer and put everything I needed in there and picked it up, and I didn't overspend anything. I got to splurge actually because I've been using the coupons and stuff, and they gave me a $5 coupon for doing this, and then a $15 coupon for doing that, and then extra points for gas. And I actually got to splurge and get more food than I thought I would for the amount of money that I spent. And so I was really happy with the results of shopping at Kroger. I used to shop at Kroger whenever I was back with Mom. Excuse me. Whenever I still lived with my mom, we would go shopping at Kroger all the time. But it wasn't pickup. It was going in and shopping. And it was, while you still saved a lot of money, it was a lot more work to do so. Because, I mean, you're going inside and shopping. And so I think from now on the whole pickup thing is going to be my go-to method for shopping, and probably for other things besides groceries. I think Walmart does pickup too, and so I may do that and start just doing the pickup thing, because we're 30 minutes out from a decent grocery store. We have one here in Donovan, but it's the only one, and so they can price things the way they please, and sometimes it's a little expensive. And so to get decent priced stuff, you have to drive at least 30 minutes, which is Poplar Bluff. And so my husband works in Poplar Bluff. If I took and set everything up, he could just drive in the pickup lane and get everything, and I wouldn't have to give him a grocery list, nothing. He would just be able to work from pulling up into the pickup line and letting them load it up, you know. And so I think that that is what I'm going to be doing. How far am I? Oh, 35 minutes. And here I thought that I wouldn't have much to talk about. I always do that. I sit here and I ain't got much at all to show. I showed you, what, 3 different things? 4 if you count the scarf and hat separately. I'm sitting here thinking I ain't got much to show, but yet I've figured out how to talk for 35 minutes. But I'm actually really excited about fall. I'm glad. Now it's still warm outside, but it's not 100-degree weather outside, and so I am really, really happy that the weather is changing. With the weather change, it's got all of the seasonal stuff acting up in you. My husband almost lost his voice there for a week. I can tell a difference in my asthma, which, you know, it's whatever. But we're both getting over all of that, and our bodies are getting used to the weather change now, and so we're good. But yeah, I am really excited for what this fall holds, because I'm collaborating with 3 different events. I've collaborated with groups of designers, and so that's happening between this month. By the time you see this video, it'll be this month and next month. And so I've got a lot of stuff in the works. So, hey, maybe I'll do some lives here soon so that y'all can talk to me in person, basically. I don't know, that's a scary thought. So, well, I think that is all that I have for you right now. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Happy fall, y'all. And I will see you another day.